Good evening. Welcome to a Friday night rando special. This is middle of the first week of brackets for the round of 64 main tournament Link to the Past. We have got such a treat for you guys. Not only do you get to see Lady Berlin, our tracker, marking inverted key sanity for this particular match, we have two pretty well-known runners, McMonkey versus Eri, facing off in their best-of-3 match. Should be quite good with Eri having an early one-game advantage. Alrighty, starting out, we already have a small key to pod. Pretty good. And I am Clear Mouse, and joined with me is Jeep. Jeep, how are you doing? Are you ready for some inverted keys?
Oh, I am as ready as I'll ever be for inverted keys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like this particular mode, so the main tournament here is kind of like a like a wild card, or sorry, variety of modes type of thing, and certainly inverted keys is definitely kind of like the wild card special, right? That a little bit one of these things is kind of not like the other things. Speaking of part of inverted key sanity that we have here, not only of course is inverted, it is a full key sanity. Maps, compasses, big keys, small keys, everything is shuffled into the pool, and not only that, we actually get to see our very nice friend, the duck, already being doing some hard work here in inverted with moving these runners around.
Yeah, that duck not wasting any time, getting right to work, taking us to Meyer, not really finding anything of value over there.
Yeah. And actually, I would say, I don't know if it's just like specific to this tournament or, more of like, just experience with like meta. Seems to be that's actually a very common thing to do, for our runners to, go over to Meyer, 2 quick checks. But you know what? Those bombs that we picked up over from Meyer seem to be paying out pretty well because we got a bow already. That is actually pretty nice. Not necessarily a permanent weapon, but we also did get a little bit of ammunition. So actually really nice to not be totally defenseless.
Yeah, and also a couple of big keys, one to Skull Woods, which you probably don't care about too much, but also one to Pod.
Yeah, and I think early on we defined, pod small key, right? So automatically, with the bow, with the first small key, with the pod big key, we got actually a good number of checks in pod, fully in logic, and not to mention, she's another big key on Stumpy. It is, we're getting all of these like really nice big keys to have early. You always want to have these keys before you kind of go into those dungeons. Skullwood's big key, for example, right, is you don't really want to go back for it. Ice Pals especially. You would really like to be able to dive that dungeon with it. Not that we can really get into Ice Palace at this point. We are kind of missing a fire rod and a couple flippers, and but other than that, we certainly want to be able to have it.
Yeah, it's always nice to get those little nagging big keys just out of the way, even if they aren't necessarily progression. Rather, they avoid orphaning items and having that kind of drag on the runners throughout the seed. Wondering. Having that pile of orphaned items building up never feels good.
Oh yeah, no, you are definitely correct in that, because as part of, I would say, like more so for keys versus like non-keys, but the efficiency in order for you to be able to kind of traverse these checks is definitely a very much higher priority, and especially for these types of, especially like Ice Palace big chest, right? If it is very, very difficult to get back there, so it's you really want to see if you can try and prioritize, maybe not necessarily going into Ice Palace before having that big keep. In this case, we don't have to worry about it. I would say also another inverted staple on McMonkey's side. We're probably going to see something very similar on Aries' side relatively shortly. One of the more challenging things that have been inverted is the early resources, right? Got pretty lucky with a couple of bombs getting us into Hype Cave, but you see McMonkey, we need a couple more rupees, right? Dig game, chess game, pod entry, for example. These are all things that without the arrow game, in order to kind of farm up a little bit of extra cash, there's not really like a good source of income. Ganon it runs a pretty tight economy, but seems to be kind of pretty only for his minions as opposed to for adventurers.
Yeah, it really does seem like the archery game there is keeping the whole economy of this village of outcasts afloat.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. These need something to steal, right? That's how they make a living. So. Speaking of progression, we are finding, so Eri, we have found a glove one of our Light World access pieces in the brewery. So thank you again, Bombs, for for giving us. So and of course, one major part, for kind of to wrap your head around inverted, typically speaking, for especially for non-inverted, right? Some of the staples you're looking for. Nice big arrow, magic drop there on Aries' side, by the way. One of the things you're looking for is, gloves, mitts, hammer, pearl, right? That's going to get you your Dark World access. Always going to be required for inverted. That glove might be the only one we're going to see for the entire game. Just because of kind of like how the logic ends up working out.
Yeah, and some of the dungeons work a little bit differently in that, like Desert Palace is not possible to access with the mirror and mitts, so book is hard required. And Turtle Rock, there's a few ways you can kind of jump in once you have the mirror and go straight to Laser Bridge, jumping down from the East Death Mountain in Light World. So little things like that always. The hard part is just remembering you're playing this mode.
Yeah, no, you're definitely correct, and especially for maybe inverted actually does take a little bit of either as you said getting used to remembering things, especially with all the muscle memory of non-inverted stuff being so strong, right? It's just sometimes you don't remember or realize necessarily even oh yeah, I can do this inverted, or it's oh yeah, I need to do this inverted, right? And until it's too late. So hopefully that won't trip up both either Eri or McMonkey today. I was also going to say, so the Eri, picked up half magic in the vanilla big key chest of Skull Woods. I think, of course, Eri, and of course McMonkey knows no introduction to NMG. Eri is very familiar with how to maneuver that statue without the Cane of Samaria. Handsomely rewarded, although maybe he doesn't quite need that big magic drop earlier.
Yeah, and nicely dodging Molder just to make it in time to get that big chest there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you also did mention this. You're observing this too, right? Eri and both McMonkey are on 3 hearts of health. That's also one of the features of inverted. You start out in the Dark World, and hey, Dark World enemies don't care whether you started out here or you came here after 50 minutes of gameplay. They hit just as hard, and well, that is part of the challenge for the adventurer, is to be able to survive the inverted. Well, in this case, the Dark World on such low health.
Yeah, and we have seen, I believe, now 3 small keys to Pod as well as the big keys. So Pod is definitely beginning to look like a pretty decent play, having the bow in hand as well.
Yeah, that's actually, as you mentioned, right. So I believe Key Sanity says there are, technically it's what is considered to be in logic is the levels are 1, 4, 6, so 6 total pod keys. The first one, there's the front of pod is in logic with one key, the middle-ish, / back of pod is in logic with 4 keys, and then of course Harmless Hellway, Eri, I don't know if he intended to do that.
That's not how you get to catfish.
Yeah, so Ariel might have been looking for a 4th pod key. Oh man. Okay, but it's this is it's only a very minor setback. Not going to be too bad. Hopefully, in order to get back there. Yeah, and as in this case, as Chad, I think, kind of observed that as part of Inverted Key Sanity, we do get an additional starting item bonus, which is that flute, and is already pre-activated, so we don't, in this case, can basically get back to Catfish with relatively quickness, especially with with the flute, right? The walk back here isn't too bad.
Yeah, certainly a much nicer trip than it is in normal mode.
Yeah. And actually, right, so for one observation as well, is that the flute does only work in the Dark World, doesn't work in the Light World. And so, this is also actually a really nice challenge, and actually does maybe, pose a bit more creativity on how our runners are going to navigate the Light World, right? So, Dark World, for example, we saw Eri, normally speaking, Catfish is one of those, when am I going to Catfish? This is probably one of the longest checks in the game, and oftentimes it gets kind of pretty isolated or just never checked by runners, right? In the Dark World with the flute, much nicer in order to get over. Kind of at the flip side though, how do you get to Potion Shop, right? Usually it's a flute to 2 in Light World. Here, you don't have that luxury, right? So even, going to get a potion or safety here and there actually still might be more of a conscious effort.
Yeah, Eri showing off that statue pole that I did not know existed. Just
Oh
getting some
yeah.
hearts out of there.
Yeah, and yeah, and I think we mentioned, early resources. So you guys should take, a look at Aries' rupee count versus McMonkey's once his thing goes up. Oh, that's a nice sword. Oh, Aries just barely dodging the bird.
Nice duck
Man,
dodge.
oh wow, yeah. Harry is actually he is 9 rupees short of pod entry right now. I believe he is trying to go find some money before he goes into pod. McMonkey though, he spent a little bit more time on the arrow game, right? For the archery game, I think he is not in a financial straits right now.
Yeah, and as we can see on Harry's side, in inverted, the old man is in the dark world at his the usual cave position, just inverted, and you have to take a long walk with him up the mountain and then jump back down in order to return him home.
Oh yeah, yeah. So when you say long, you're not kidding. This is arguably one of the longest checks in the game. I'm not even sure. So maybe if a hook shot, you can kind of speed up things ever so slightly, right? You can maybe hook onto some of these bushes, but boots won't help you, flute won't help you because the old man is so he is on the probably on the elderly side. You want to take some consideration, make sure you don't go too fast. Airy, holy cow! You almost got some large talk there, but Aries pretty. Aries pretty good at avoiding this stuff. But yeah, we really need to make sure that the old man goes home safe and sound, which
Yeah.
means you're gonna have to kind of literally walk him back here.
Harry the Good Samaritan is rewarded with just a piece of heart for his troubles, and also a save and quit spot. So at least there's something to get out of that. And McMonkey also waiting for a traffic stop here with the crabs over on his way to Catfish. And there's a lamp in Spectacle Rock Cave, so I imagine Harry's going to go pick that up pretty soon. That is, even though he is technically in bunny form, that is a check he can go just walk over and pick up.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you also mentioned, before, there's these like little things you have to remember about, inverted, and so a part of, playing inverted is knowing what you can and cannot do as a bunny, and so as a bunny, you can certainly, very much in logic, pick things up. You can also talk to NPCs, so, one of the things especially, I think maybe that kind of gets some people is, well, especially maybe more in entrance, is that, if an NPC like, like the friendly guy in Hype Cave has your Moon Pearl, it is going to be in logic for you. Of course, on the other hand, if you end up, you can also talk to like the chess game dude, right? And then he'll take your 30 rupees, but if you're in bunny form, you still can't open chests. So try not to get scammed. That's definitely something you want to keep your money for.
Yeah, no, the chess game guy will just tell you it's not his problem and expect you to pay him back again later. So we see, okay, it looks like McMonkey is going to make his way over to Pod. And we'll finally get to see what's inside there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like we're eagerly awaiting, the bounty, I'm sure, that is here in the Palace of Darkness. As you mentioned earlier, right? Especially, if runners are potentially, maybe more suspicious, of, especially in inverted, right? What the early game is kind of presented itself to you. You mentioned earlier, we have a bow, which means we can get the bow lock side. We have 1 key, well, actually 3 small keys, so we can actually certainly open up the front door, and then at least, the pseudo sequence breakout, the middle / back of pod, and we can also get, what is in the big chest as well. Assuming, of course, Eri, survives his way over here into pod. He is on 1 heart. I'm sure his heartbeats of encouragement that we currently can't hear right now are just going to, help him get to the beginning of and take some solace into the dungeon.
I like that, heartbeats of encouragement.
Yeah.
Every time it goes off, it's like, you can do it, you can do it.
That's right. Eri is also taking.
Oh, there's a hook shot.
Oh well. Speaking of, okay, so hookshot, certainly also really good for defense. You know, can one-shot enemies, good for offense. A little bit of movement optimization, just because again you can kind of hook to pots, right? Hook to like the other side of the screen if there's like a bush or something or a tree.
Yeah, if I had to pick one item in the game, I think hookshot is probably my favorite, just for all that ability that you just mentioned.
Yeah, and I think with some maybe other runners who have a various technical a variety with the boots, right? Some people certainly would like to see that hook shot sooner rather than later, just so they don't necessarily have to have as much variance, right? Let's say crossing, let's say like the Moldern 2 gap, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to answer the question in chat, I do believe Eri does have the pod big key. It was in Hype Cave.
Yeah, so I think both runners should have it. Right, so of course, meanwhile, McMonkey is just slightly ahead of Eri getting to the back of pod. One major difference, though, I think we kind of observed this earlier. Eri, did end up taking, rescuing the old man, invested his time, and kind of for his troubles, a little bit afterwards, he picked up the lamp, which was sitting inside Spectacle Rock Cave. So McMonkey, while he is navigating all of these dark rooms, kind of using his sword as a little guide, well, Eri is, going to be able to give us a full picture of what the pod basement looks like.
Small key to pod and pod.
Cute, yeah. Of course, are we surprised? No, but it's still funny to see. McMonkey also showing us that indeed regular arrows do not harm the hard hat beetles here. Eri, I don't know if he's miffed or necessarily about that. The fact that he did pick up blue mail means his death warp, especially with that the mirror, is going to be on the slower side. But at least it's going to be early, right? 3 hearts blue mail is certainly not going to be too bad.
Yep, Eri finding a way to take that death like a champ and getting back to this entrance of the dungeon. And yeah, he did... Oh, I missed what that was in the bridge chest there.
Bridge chest was actually a full heart container, and so I'm sure Eri and McMonkey are both very happy to see a 4th heart container at this point, being in the Dark World.
Yeah, our runners do need health a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, the heart beams of encouragement can only get us so far. At some point, we actually do still have to eventually live, and maybe, not use that only when it is absolutely necessary. Slightly different routing, I would actually say, from McMonkey. He has actually visited both the Vanilla Big Key chest and the Harmless Hellway, which both are actually, locked by all of the pod keys. Well, I guess technically 5, since it was like a key for a key. But kind of as a result, looks like McMonkey actually hasn't done Dark Maze yet, and he actually had a very slightly faster death warp, just because he didn't have to, have blue mail in this case.
Yeah, and Eri also choosing to spend the key to get the key in Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, and maybe this is also just like a consequence of, routing pod without the mirror, just because, again, death warping is really not too easy, or, not too, it's a bit time consuming, but you know what? Eri here is in the back of pod. McMonkey! No. Dude, go back! That's a very important item in the big chest! We just found the moon pearl back there.
Yep, and McMonkey is going to probably find that lamp up here and be like, well, maybe I should go back to pod.
Oh, yeah. McMonkey looks like he is realizing that, yes, he wants to rescue the old man as well. Yeah, that's right. He's like, wait, I'm not supposed to go alone on my adventures. Yeah, so meanwhile, so that lamp, of course, absolutely does put, pod Dark Maze in logic, which McMonkey is going to probably pick up relatively shortly here. Of course, Eri, just in this case, okay, they're gonna have to go back to pod. Oh, well, most likely we'll go back to pod. But Eri will have, I guess, a slightly, early advantage over McMonkey, just because, especially without boots, in order to get to pod kind of quickly, McMonkey is gonna have to kind of make his way back there a second time. Look at this bow, man! Look at this bow to put to really nice use here on on Eri's side.
The Small Key to Desert is interesting once we pick up the book. Doesn't really do anything for us at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also worthwhile noting, especially with like key logic, right? That small key does in this case put Lambos, also the Desert Palace boss in logic as well. Forwards again, it is one key that you need. You still of course need the Desert Big Key, and as you just said, you need the book in order to get into Desert. Etc., etc. But at least we know that we have one more logical piece. This music, dude, it's so good, right? Oh man, it's so nice to be able to...
I can't tell what that sprite is either.
That's also a good question. So monkey? That might be Afro McMonkey. I was gonna say, okay, so Eric actually finding some stuff. I think that was a fire rod, maybe, and also small key to swamp. Yeah, Eri and of course shortly. Yeah, I was gonna say shortly McMonkey is just kind of following the logic here. Eri just got a little bit of a head start with that lamp, and then finding like the pearl here in Pod Big Chest. It's kind of got his way over here at least to make it a Super Bunny Hookshot Cave. Though there's another pod key by the way. Jeez. So, Jeef, how many times do you think either Eri or McMonkey is going to climb Death Mountain today?
Well, Eri's already at 3 now, I think, so I'm gonna go ahead and say 7.
Sadly, you're probably not too far off. Yeah, of course, guessing the number of times if someone's going to climb Death Mountain is pretty much like the early game of the, where's the GT Big Key, esque. But I mean, it is surprisingly frequent that we're going to kind of have to, come here. So I don't know if they have like, frequent flyer miles or, mileage basically, attached to their name, but it certainly could be a good investment on their part.
Yeah, or the Stairmaster master plan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, these guys are gonna be in like excellent shape, right? Gonna be able to run marathons after this. Alright, okay, so McMonkey, rescuing the old man, picking up his land. Looks like actually he's not gonna get a pod quite yet. This looks like it's going to be a check into Castle Tower. Maybe just like what Eri did, the first chest is available to us. Probably gonna go check out Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny as well. But of course, without that pearl, he is not going to be able to do what Eri is doing now and check out Light Death Mountain. And yeah.
Yeah, and the Hookshot Cave had the fire rod, so he might actually then go over and do a low % moth. Although with no small keys, yeah, that would be pretty out of logic at the moment. So we'll see. Yeah,
that's really true, right? So you often hear people saying like logic is merely a suggestion. There are going to be some things where things are going to be kind of hard required. We are going to have to find one small key somewhere. The pinball room is not guaranteed to have a small key in this case, unlike maybe like cross keys or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if you would necessarily want to go over there on like fighter sword and fire rod. That's kind of scary. I mean, these guys are in brackets for a reason, of course. That they have excellent execution, but still, even inverted in these type of low % fights can still take advantage of runners.
So nice using the bomb to get through those Lionels. They can really be bullies guarding that bridge there.
Oh yeah. That's actually really cool. It's like, oh dude, yeah, Eri.
Yeah,
Eri is just really like piling on things to his name. We got, because he has the Moon Pearl that he got kind of the first time out of Pod Big Chest. With the Moon Pearl came over here, was rewarded with a Master Sword and is rewarded with the Mirror. Arguably one of like the best items that you could have in Inverted. I mean, I'm certainly very partial to the boots, but I mean like the Light World Dark World travel is just so efficient.
Yeah, Eri really seems to be finding a good path through the scene here, and it's going to jump down and show us what's on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, Chief, you mentioned this earlier, right? This is also another kind of one of those, features, actual features, by the way, of inverted, is that once you have the mirror, no longer is potentially the Turtle Rock Medallion going to be hard required. And of course, even the logic could even dictate to say that, hey, you are intended to go to the light world, mirror from the light world to go to the dark world and hop down here into Laser Bridge.
Yep, that is inverted logic for you. And that's the big key of Eastern, so that could come in handy later on. We don't know if it's crystal or a pendant yet, but it is a full clearable dungeon now with that bow.
Oh, yeah, and especially, I believe, especially Eastern Palace, in particular, probably is, holds a lot of opinions, throughout the community. I believe, though, that everyone, is united when, they do see a fully clearable Eastern Palace that they can, go through in one shot, regardless of, kind of like what the situation is. And yeah, you also do bring up a very good point, is that because this is full key sanity, right? Maps, compasses, everything is shuffled into the pool. We're not going to know whether or not Eastern Palace is a pendant or crystal until we either pick up the map or we end up beating the boss.
Yeah, it looks like McMonkey is making that Skull Woods play, taking that fire rod, putting it to use.
Oh wow, this is so this is quite aggressive, and we do see that we do have a Skull with small key, so McMonkey can go all the way back here to basically open up this locked door that we see kind of up top on the bridge. And of course, with that sword, the vines or whatever don't stand a chance. It's but still, this is going to be a pretty aggressive fight here on McMonkey's side. Oh, there's another pod key. Jeez. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, sooner or later, as we find a Turtle Rock and Turtle Rock.
Actually, that's the second key that's kind of locked within its logical chest, right? Because we had a small pod key in Harmless Hellway, and now we have a small Turtle Rock key in the Vanilla Big Key chest. So very interesting that you're gonna basically get key for key. Oh my gosh, Eri, the investment, in Dark Death Mountain or Light World Death Mountain, yeah, man, again, following, what he has available to him and just kind of sticking it out to be very thorough, paying off with those myths. No, of course, right. So I think, we did kind of mention early on that while myths are not, strictly logical required, right, in order to get to the light world, this is going to be certainly one way that Eric can get over it there now. Certainly very going to be sufficient. Many invertices have gone through, with just a glove, a hammer, and pearl. The myths, though, really does make, light world maneuverability and travel certainly a bit nicer. You can see that basically Eric can, all those times where you want to try and enter Village of Outcasts and non-inverted, you want to pick up the rock, you can. With the myths, you can.
Yeah, definitely nice to have those myths to get around, as you said. And McMonkey manages to take down Mothula and picks up his first crystal at just under 28 minutes here.
Yeah, very impressive fight. Yeah, that was certainly definitely worth commenting on. He has he did have half magic and with some fire rush on, which certainly does help. But I mean, no hammer, fighter's sword, certainly definitely quite the challenge. So really, again, just a testament for how good these runners are. Being in first round of brackets, and especially I think McMonkey potentially even for sure he's down a game, but also facing the runner that is Eri potentially feels like he might needs to make maybe like an aggressive play or two.
The runner that is Eri, not the runner formerly known as Eri.
That's right. All right, so Eri has taken solace, I would say, in Light World. We're actually probably here, relatively speaking, probably with too much health coming into Kakariko. With this Light World access, the plethora of checks we have here, Blind's Hut, the Well, Chicken, laundry list of places, right? Certainly a very good place for Eri to kind of explore and try to get some more progression.
Yeah, this is kind of a typical, I guess you would say, mid-game kind of for an inverted seed like this. Once you get into the light world, then you have all these, plethora of checks, like you just mentioned, Kakariko, mini mold arms, all these really dense locations you can go spread out and just try and route in really as efficiently as you can, looking for the last few go mode items.
Yeah, especially for inverted keys, we're gonna have quite a few more go mode items. So speaking of, McMonkey is here back in pod, nice hammering out in order to, well, get that very, very requisite Moon Pearl. Looks like he's gonna finish up Dark Maze in this case. I think it was just a bit of cash left. So after this, presumably McMonkey is going to, kind of follow up on what Eri did earlier and go back to the mountain and get, his mirror, his master sword, go into Turtle Rock, and pick up those mitts.
And I have to admit I'm not counting the mountain climbs anymore, but this might be cool.
You know what? We really need like a feature, like a compass, right? We have compasses that count items in dungeons. We need a compass and inverted to count the number of mountain climbs. Like, surely this is possible, right?
Yeah, just a little counter that ticks up every time you cross the top of those stairs.
Yeah. I was gonna suggest like maybe we can count on our fingers, but then I think we would run out of fingers, so maybe it's just better we have a bot or something that does it for us.
Oh, there's a big key on the race game there. Is it trash?
Oh.
Big key to Thieves Town. That's probably not trash.
Yeah, that is actually pretty good big key. Of course, we don't have. Back of Thieves Town does have what 4 more available checks. Without a hammer, without a small key, not sure how willing they are at least to dive the bath, but it is still going to be something on the table. All right, so this is going to be the hardest. Yeah, Aries demonstrating the hardest parts of playing an inverted seed is mirror to mirror and not to mirror bomb. Very, very easy to be able to do so here.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you don't really practice in any other mode. Is light into dark.
Yeah, and of course, maybe as a minor developer note, those bushes, typically if you watch like a non-inverted seed, those bushes are typically there, but just because it's just so, tedious in order to try and find that exact spot in order to, mirror to Rusty Smith, I think developers were a little bit kinder on the runners, and just basically removed all of those bushes, so you don't mirror bong as much.
Yeah, there are a few little overworld changes like that, and a few bigger ones even, like adding stairways to Cave 45.
Oh yeah. So actually, it looks like because Eri has those myths, he is, and the mirror, probably more importantly, he is going to do like the early Smith chain, and I believe Eri's just gonna give us a live demonstration walk by of exactly what Cave 45 looks like. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, McMonkey making his way through Spiral Cave. I don't think we saw anything over here, but he is just kind of retracing Aries' steps a little bit.
Yeah, so this actually is a very important retrace on McMonkey's. This particular one, I believe, and McMonkey was going to confirm shortly, this was where the mirror is. So it's very good news, at least, that, McMonkey's being a little bit thorough. Cool. You see McMonkey's thinking, is like, okay, what do I do? And I think you mentioned this earlier, Jeep, right? Like, so, inverted step 1 is, we need to get to the light world, but then it's like, once you get to the light world, I don't know if you play with necessarily like with a map tracker, but it's like, your map all of a sudden goes green, and it's like, how do you efficiently explore the light worlds, right? After just getting there. That's probably one of the biggest challenges of inverted. Alright, so McMonkey, I was gonna say, McMonkey looks like he's gonna go into, at least, check out Turtle Rock? Okay, so, at least he's going to be able to, explore the front of it, right, and I think maybe just as a matter of note, we can't do Mimic Cave as of this particular moment, just because we don't have the hammer, so if the runners want to come back for yet another mountain trip, that is available to them.
I'm sure they'd love to take another mountain trip soon.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so it looks like though Eri finished off his Kakarika stuff, delivered off the purple chest, and another key to Castle Tower, that's always pleasant. More Turtle Rock keys. McMonkey, please don't die. Please don't die, sir. Alright, everything's fine. He's gonna pick up his Turtle Rock small key.
Yep, gets his refund out of the lava chest there. And Eri, with the flute only working in the Dark World, making his way over to what is now one of the slower checks over here in Ice Rock Cave.
Yeah, right.
Just really being thorough.
Yeah, and you know, especially this also, you know, I'm not sure how much Eri like, you know, meta games, or you know, maybe just, you know, this is his normal round. Especially though he's up a game, you know, versus McMonkey. You know, I'm sure he would love to be able to close out, you know, from his perspective, the series 2-0. You know, this is, you know, this certainly could be some worth his time investment. Oh, there's a small key to Thieves Town. Well,
it's definitely nice to find before going into the dungeon. It would also be nice to find that hammer.
Yeah, we're missing that hammer. You know, I think even for like non-inverted, you know, seeds, right? We talk about like mid-Stark World access, like man, like it is, you know, still pretty difficult in order to maneuver around. You know, the Dark World, just because you only have one Dark World entry point, you know, it's not really much different in Light World and Inverted too. We're still, that hammer is going to open up the rest of our Light World access points, and it's going to be so much nicer than being able to like start at like Village of Outcasts over and over.
Yeah, I don't remember if we saw Gina from Eri's side.
I don't think we did, because I think Eri just went to the dam and then over to like Mini Moldorm and Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So yeah, our McMonkey picking up a small key to ice. Always gonna be really nice to see that like first Ice Palace key, you know, first Mire key, just because it makes your routing, you know, a little bit nicer. Of course, you know, with we do have fire rod. We don't have flippers yet, so Ice Palace is gonna be a little bit more challenging to get into. Alright, that is our first bottle. It looks like Eri is actually going to pick it up. That's going to be available now for Sick Kid. Oh, jeez, another Turtle Rock small key. I'm wondering if Trinex is a pendant or crystal at this point, because we're picking up a lot of them.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think we're still lacking in quite a lot of our dungeon information.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think the only one right now that we know for sure, as you know, expertly tracked by our awesome trackers here today, Lady Laura Linda. Eri did a map check, I believe Eastern Palace, and we did see it was a crystal. We have the Eastern Palace big key. We have, you know, a bow, everything you could need in order to kind of clear that place out. As we're demonstrating by Eri that we would still like some mitts or some hammer, because, you know, walking from Kakariko Village all the way to Eastern Palace isn't exactly like the most pleasant of trips, especially when you don't have boots. It is literal, you know, holding right in order to get over there.
Yeah, between the mountain climbs and all the walking around Kakariko and the rest of Hyrule, this winner is going to be in pretty good shape by the end of this race.
Yeah, and you know, as far as you know, us watching them, you know, just sit back, relax. You know, this is gonna be a comfy, you know, a comfy time.
It does make my thumb sore when I have to push on the D-pad too much, like.
Yeah, I was even thinking like maybe we should get like an ice bath or something like that. You know, just kind of sitting next to like, you know, your monitor or like, you know, your console, just so you can get that little extra refresh.
Yeah, a little hot cold pad for your thumb, just in the downtime.
You know, actually, yeah, so Aries looks like he's not going to quite go over to at least like North Light World quite yet. Just going to finish up Lost Woods and no book for pedestal check. Another challenge here. Unfortunately, not still quite the right location to mirror. Again, very difficult in inverted. Yes, very difficult. Oh no, Aries! poor guy. This is, you know, and these mirrors actually do surprisingly add up. Anyway, Aries back here, finishing off Skull Woods.
2 strikes and then he got in. That's good.
Yeah. So, you know, in terms of comparison to McMonkey when he was over here, McMonkey, you know, did a very nice job, lowish, you know, percent. You know, he did have what, 5 hearts, fighter sword, it did have half magic, but still not the most pleasant fight. Eri, though, coming here with Master Sword, half magic, a little bit of, I think 2 or 3 more heart containers than McMonkey, so certainly going to be a little bit safer, but still going to be a good challenge.
Yeah, I think Eri probably, well, definitely going to be feeling more comfortable than 5 Hearts Fighter Sword, but
oh yeah.
I'm just thinking, we now have all 6 pod keys and the big key, so that, I don't know if either runner actually checked the vanilla big key location in pod, but I'm just starting to think of all the nasty places that hammer could be hiding.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and especially in these kinds of seeds, you know the hammer can be in a pretty terrible spot. I would like to say that McMonkey did check the vanilla big key checks. I think that was actually maybe one of the differences, that he didn't go back to like that he actually spent his key early. But you do bring up a very excellent point though. Like all of our pod keys, with the bow, yeah, I mean, and the big key, like we're really just kind of a hammer away from clearing out pod as our next dungeon. McMonkey also doing a pretty nice, fake flipper and Scylla, just trying to get himself, off of the floating island because he really wants he wants his bottle and eat it too, cake something. Yeah, like he wants the bottle so he can go check the kid, but then he also wants to be able to finish up his water checks, like Hobo, potentially Waterfall Fairy. Looks like he is going to try and get fake flipper out. This is something that unfortunately Eri kind of had to cut his route short for, was not able to go over to like Sora and like Waterfall Fairy. So it looks like McMonkey is going to do so. Give us a couple more openings.
Yeah, we'll get to see a couple new checks on McMonkey's side, and also Eri showing us what's on the Lumberjack.
Is that a shovel?
Oh
man.
Alright.
Yeah, Eri, well, I don't know if there's like a mental sword slash that you can do, but yeah, that's where it's going.
I have to imagine that's going to be a pretty last location shovel.
Very understandably so. Alright, so that was a bumperless check, just 3 bombs, and we are definitely not going to need that cape for that particular reason today. Alright, small key to GT. Certainly could be something useful. Now keep in mind, of course, this is full-on key sanity, not like the tournament key sanity mode. GT big key is not fixed. You still have to go find it, and that GT small key can certainly be pretty important. It does get rewarded with a red potion, though. Nice safety.
Yeah, it's always good to have more bottles, especially with preloaded with red potion. And another safety, looks like the blue cane was hanging out there on Zora Ledge.
Yeah.
We'll see if McMonkey decides to go get that, just for Spike Cape purposes. I'm not sure where Eri picked up the magic cape.
Must have been somewhere in Light World that McMonkey hasn't been into.
Yeah.
I want to say it was somewhere in Kakariko, but I think my memory is eluding me. But yeah, it looks like. Oh, thank you, Lady Laura Linda, our tracker. She is super on top of things and blindside. That's right. That's right. Yeah, and of course, McMonkey. So he still doesn't have flippers. He probably maybe wanted to save some resources, maybe to try and like save another Incilla. Oh yeah, he doesn't have enough bombs.
Oh yeah, he does not have enough bombs.
Yeah, never mind. But the good news for him is that as he's kind of making his way into Kakariko, he will also pick up his other visibility item. Alright.
It looks like Eri pulled out Tempered Sword. I'm guessing that was in the back of his cape.
Yeah. Alright, so Eri is, pretty fully stocked at this point on offense. If he doesn't see silvers or, gold sword for the rest of the game, he won't bat an eye. Maybe a very minor difference if McMonkey ends up seeing silver, but, for someone who runs and has the world record in MG, I don't think he's too worried if he's kind of in his wheelhouse with just the Temper Sword and bow and arrow.
Yeah, it looks like Eri is going to walk over and clear out this Eastern Palace, knowing it's a full clearable crystal.
Yeah. So Eastern Palace in McMonkey and Ares' first game certainly did have a lot of value. It was Pen and Eastern at the time in Ambrosia, and that's where a requisite Meyer medallion with Ether is. And so certainly maybe in this case, Aerie and or McMonkey is going to hope that the hammer is over here so they can also just mirror right over and then finish a pod. Oh, Aerie making the right decision. Forget about the hammer, man. We got the boots. Aerie can dash after 45 minutes.
French vanilla boots.
Yeah. I'll take it. I don't have to go, find whatever else the green pendant is that's in Swamp Palace and turn it in. I'm super happy for those. Sub-hour boots. Thank you so much, McMonkey. That was actually a full Light World check that was available to us. All 3 crystals here.
Yeah, and Saha did mention that the green pennant was at Swamp Palace. So.
Yeah, certainly, very good knowledge to know. I believe, there was a small somewhere up on the mountain. So with the mirror, with the hookshot, they do have, or at least we can get into Swamp Palace. We just can't swim any further because we don't have flippers. Another.
Yeah, I think that's 3 GT smalls between our runners.
Yeah, is GT looking suspicious? I don't know.
More than enough to full clear it.
Yeah.
Once we find the big key, of course. And yeah, so far Eastern not really having too much for us. Just a little bit of extra cash for Ares' wallet. And a Harris small key, which is not something you really love to see. And I think the question in chat, the Eastern Palace big key, I think McMonkey is about to show us. Oh no, that's the Thieves Town's big key on the race game. Never mind. Yeah, I don't remember where that Eastern Palace big key was.
I want to say it was on Laser Bridge, which I don't think McMonkey has actually gone over. But don't necessarily hold me to that.
I'm sure he'll find it at some point in that assault.
Yeah, I'm okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy to be able to see Aerie, with boots. Maybe McMonkey isn't so happy to see Aerie with boots because he does have to race Aerie for this particular one. But really, like NMG runner, Aerie should be should just fall back to his muscle memory and just do this dungeon like the old-fashioned way. Although,
yeah, the old-fashioned way with tempered sword, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, that's a good point.
Makes things a little bit easier.
Exactly. Yeah, Aerie is also, very, very skilled with the bow. These rooms are basically going to be pretty much the same. You're going to be able to see, some really nice technique execution on Aerie. It looks like actually using are most nights. Yeah, nice job, Aerie. It looks so beautiful. He's so good.
That is a fancy quick kill.
Alright, so meanwhile though, McMonkey looks like he actually talked to, once we got to Light World, talked to the bomb vendor, found out that, again, thank you Lady Lorraine for marking them, is Thieves Town and Ice Palace are our red crystals. So yeah, that Bikini Thieves Town, that was on race game, definitely required. And of course we also got a small key to Thieves Town, which I believe also does put blind in logic. Oh, big key to desert. Okay, so we do know, of course, on McMonkey's side that is a crystal, so 100% required. Actually, pretty elusive big key too. Eastern Palace big key, pod big key. Desert Palace big key. These are kind of the big keys that don't really lock too much, so always kind of nice to be able to see them when they're required.
Yeah, and Eri gave us a quick map check. I didn't catch much, except that Misery Mire was the blue pendant.
Okay, that is one more pendant than I caught, so good job.
And I don't think Eri has been to escape yet. Oh, we don't have the small key, so most of this is not going to be in logic, but I don't think that'll bother McMonkey too much.
Yeah, right. That's actually a good point that you bring up as well, right? So in addition to force full on key sanity, right? Hyrule Castle small key is shuffled somewhere in the pool, and that I think map that McMonkey picked up is technically in logic, but everything else, after that, right? Even here, Boomerang Chest, Zelda Cell is technically out of logic until we find that key. Those are our flippers, by the way, in Thieves Town Attic. Well, are you gonna do the front of Swamp without the hammer? Out of curiosity, Chief? Is that on the table for you?
Maybe if I'm in the area and I happen to have my mirror out, but
Man. Yeah.
Ice Palace. Ice Palace without Red Cane. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. No, I mean, so you're bringing up some really terrible locations for potentially where the hammer could be. Because you mentioned, so Swamp Palace with the hammer, only first 2 trucks are available, of course, but it's kind of, tedious to get to. With those flippers, getting 2 Ice Palaces in logic, we don't have the hammer or the Red Cane, so do we really want to go in there, without either of those? These are not, good decisions that you want to be asking yourself, kind of at this stage of the game.
Yeah, not having a hammer at 51 minutes into a seed is always... You start getting into these kind of checks that never feel very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of, though, again, no hammer, means that Eri cannot open the Thieves Town Big Chest, so there is going to be, one of those, one item here left in Thieves Town. Oh my god! Did you see what McMonkey just found that Eri could have used like 10 seconds ago? That was the hammer!
Okay, well...
Oh man!
That was a not-so-terrible place for a hammer to be.
That is early hammer, holy cow, for McMonkey. So it looks like he is actually going to, again, very little movement available options. He's going to go over to the Eastern Palace area. Pod for sure, 100% is on the table for him. Gonna go visit Tasha, go get his nice boots.
Yeah, just holding down that D-pad as hard as you can to get over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, so McMonkey here with the hammer, at least going to Thieves Town, he is going to be able to pick up that Thieves Town Big Chest, which, is going to be, very low on the priority list for Eri at this point. Now, where is Eri going? We did see that fourth McMonkey picked up the hammer in Dark Cross. And he wants to do boost checks, gotcha. Yeah, Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb. Eri needs to be able to go to the front of Escape in order to get there. I guess I'm kind of curious to see if McMonkey will actually dip Eastern Palace without the big key, because big key, I believe also was probably pseudo confirmed is in Laser Bridge, which McMonkey has not gone into. Looks like he's going to do at least pod first, which is very reasonable. I don't believe Eri found anything in Eastern Palace though, outside of that crystal.
Yeah, I think Eastern was pretty empty, so
yeah, okay.
You won't be missing out on much progression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably like the trap here from McMonkey though is, if he decides to go into Eastern Palace, for sure that is going to, be some time given to Eri, just because Eri was, again, able to single dip it versus McMonkey is going to have to double dip Eastern.
Yeah, and thank you again, Lady Laura Linda, pointing out we did find a GT small key and a Harris small key in Eastern.
Man, thank you so much, Lady Lorlinda. You know, this is why we have her as our tracker. She knows everything. She's actually probably been paying attention to the seed.
But someone's doing that. So Eri, where is Eri going now?
Right. So I think actually, so maybe some observations being put out here in chat was that I think Eri meant to not go over to do.
Oh, I saw that on the screen and like it just didn't register with me. Like, why did Eri drop down into Houlihan and then just walk out?
Yeah, that's right. It's like, yeah, Eri's like, I have over 1,000 rupees. I need some more money for the seed. So I think he was intending on doing, you know, the front of escape. But unfortunately, you know, if you're too fast, kind of going this route, yeah, you get to Houlihan. So I think Eri's like, screw this. I'm gonna take the safer route, and I'm just gonna go to the uncle in the front way.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess that's how you get into Houlihan. I've just never seen it done that way before.
I think I want to say that like in like the old Nintendo Power like strategy guide, I think that was the way that they kind of told you to do Houlihan. But you know, like certainly don't quote me on that either. But that was like probably one of the first ways that I learned about the Houlihan route. Oh, dude. Well, okay, so we have more. Yeah, we have more knowledge that pot is a pendant, but pot ended up dropping silvers, which certainly I don't know if pot's gonna be on the table for Eri.
Yeah, if Eri never goes back to pot, I think he'll be perfectly happy. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't think he has that information yet about the dungeon pendant crystal layout. But Eri is going to pick up his hammer, presumably here after he clears out the Zelda cell. And McMonkey is... I think there was a Ganon Tower big key on blind, and oh, he'll also be able to show us what's in the big chest of Fuse Town. But while these runners are kind of retracing their steps, just want to take a moment and say, if you like what you're seeing here, then please do give these runners a follow. Putting on a great show for us, and yeah, it's always great to see these races go. And
100%, yeah. Yeah, I mean, always, you know, really great pleasure to be able to see both Eri and McMonkey here. Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, the music here is quite jamming. Again, yeah, the MSU stuff I think is very recent. You know, for SG, I think this was actually the start of this is the first tournament. I think they kind of like let MSUs go. Certainly has to be approved, but it's just really, really good.
Yeah, but while that was happening, McMonkey, he threw the bomb.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
But he missed, and he didn't notice and didn't go back.
No, man, you don't want to see this happen in Rando. You really don't want to see this in NMG either, and he's definitely a run killer. I mean, he is going to realize this, unfortunately. You know, when he does try to deliver the maiden, when of course the maiden won't actually turn into blind, she'll just kind of, you know, follow you around as she normally does.
Yeah, very dark room.
But yeah, unfortunately, that means that McMonkey does have to kind of go back and, you know, bomb open the floor and go grab the maiden again. Okay, but let's just see what's in this big chest. It is just 20 rupees, so Eri will not be punished in this particular case. Oh, interesting. Alright, so yeah, Eri is back here in Pod. Of course, no knowledge of whether or not, you know, from his perspective, you know, Pod is a pendant or crystal, but, you know, we just found the hammer. We got all 6 Pod keys, so it looks like, you know, he is going to be able to have silvers at the end of all this.
Yeah, finding all 6 Pod keys before the 1 hour mark is not terribly common in these key sanity modes, so maybe kind of reading into that a little bit.
Yeah, especially in inverted too, right? Just because you're here in the dark world and you've just got like it's one of your first available dungeons for you. Yeah, it certainly seems very suspicious. As McMonkey, of course, unfortunately, finding out the bad news that we're still I guess we're in the dark dungeon. Taking some actually DLC content for us, not usually going through that room in order to get back to the attic.
Does the maiden just disappear when you come up into the attic? I've never actually tried this before.
Yes. So the fact that maybe people don't often see this just means that you don't you get to bomb open the floor every time, right? So I believe in this case the maiden doesn't like sunlight, and so because I guess this whole upper staircase upstairs is all kind of connected, they won't let you take the maiden any further. So they just kind of cut it off at the stairs. It's actually kind of similar, I think, to like what happens if you leave the purple chest outside, because it kind of does count as a follower as well. You can keep the purple chest, active, kind of like right next to Thieves Town, if so you choose. So long as you only do the front, like so once you kind of like either go upstairs or downstairs to the basement, like you basically lose the purple chest.
Well, thankfully the maiden found her way back into her cell and locked the rest
true.
of the dungeon.
Alright, okay, so McMonkey is totally here, the first time, rescuing the maiden, bombing open the attic to get our sunroof, in place for some renovations, and now, surely, going into 3.5 hours for this fight, I don't think should be a big deal. McMonkey knows the script very well. He does have the cape out just in case, probably doesn't want to take any extra chances.
Yeah, this will be first try, no hit blind. No problem. You got this.
Exactly. Nobody's worried. I mean, this is basically like, NG, level type of fight, right? You got Master Sword, we got boots. Oh, well, there's the big key to Ganon's tower. That's a pretty important big key.
Yeah, very much hard required. And Eri, yep, looks like this will be the Ice Palace play for Eri. And McMonkey, gonna be right behind him.
Yeah, looks like it. So I think so far, just probably outside of that Eastern Palace full clear on Eri's side, that's kind of like the major difference between Eri and McMonkey. Oh, and right, and I guess like Eri has kind of also invested a little bit more time into doing like Laser Bridge on Death Mountain, so that's where in this case like the Eastern Palace big key was. But of course, actually, it's a very good decision on McMonkey's part, especially, given what we know, to not go into Eastern Palace at all. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Aaron was probably all excited. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do Ice Palace, fully clearable to me. I don't have the big key, but whatever. I'm gonna get up, brush off my NMG muscle memory to do the Ice Palace bomb jump, and here we are. We just found the Cave of Samaria inside Ice Palace.
Yeah. So anyone who's looking forward to the Ice Palace bomb jump, so sorry. It's not going to happen this stream.
Yeah.
But I'm sure both of our runners are very happy to see that. Icebreaker does save a good chunk of time in this dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you are not in go mode, right? In this case, they're still looking for. Actually, you know what? That's actually a good point. So we are just over the hour mark into this race. Maybe we can take some stock as to potentially what other items we're looking for, items and keys. We do know from McMonkey's side that Desert Palace is a crystal. I think maybe Eri also knows that. So we are gonna have to look for that book. I think you mentioned earlier, very early in the race, Jeeve, that Desert Palace you can't get into with like flute and mirror. Hey, look, there's a book. Never mind.
There you go.
Alright, okay, so that's one item down.
Is Ice Rod or go mode then? I guess logically we need the Tower of Hera big key, but these runners I'm sure can both pull off a Hera prot in their sleep.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, so I think we potentially are. Yes, we know that on Aries' side that TR was a crystal. So yeah, we do need the Turtle Rock big key.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, so I guess Meyer is independent. We hopefully won't have to go in there at all. I guess so. If we never see Quake, that's great for us. Oh, hey. Speaking of big keys, we just found another big key to Tower of Hera, so at least we can get one more check, but I think, yeah, maybe at this point, I think all we're potentially missing, all quote-unquote, is that Ice Rod and the Turtle Rock big key.
Yeah, just a simple Ice Rod hunt, so we'll only be here for another hour or so.
Oh, man.
Worst case.
At least we have boots, so maybe it's only like 59 minutes and, and change.
Oh yeah, very, very good point.
Alright, McMonkey dropping down very, very briefly before Eri kind of takes down Cold Stare. So I think as kind of Chad pointed out before, Eri does have a sword advantage, but Mcmonkey's got half magic, and so long as you kind of keep that first sword spin, to bunch up the Cold Stare pops, he is going to be burdened. Eri though, again, NMG wheelhouse, very, very well done Cold Stare fight, almost textbook for him.
Yeah, I blinked and I missed it.
Right? Like, this is definitely where Eri is gonna show some of his comfort level here. We can't get Ice Palace Bomb Jump the NMG way, but at least we can do Cold Stare. Alright, with the book that McMonkey and both Aries found. Great minds think alike, chasing, some logical access here. Looks like we're gonna first get a check over at Bombo's tablet on McMonkey's side versus Eri. Looks like he's probably just gonna go straight in. This actually make more sense for McMonkey, just because he had actually kind of made an early trip over to Desert, maybe hoping in order to get something useful out of Desert, with like a Gina and Checkerboard Cave. So maybe he just doesn't want to kind of like leave Bombo's tablet. Eri, on the other hand, of course, hasn't kind of been over here at all, so probably will just make like a left to right swoop.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. That makes sense with how McMonkey routed us in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, look, there's a Pyro Castle Smoky. Funny game.
I do like this tracking the Desert Palace with this MSU.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Actually, yeah. I guess I think people mentioned this was from like Mario Galaxy or something like that. Yeah, so it's certainly very fitting. This is gonna be like desert, sand-esque type of music. I would like to also, see that I think McMonkey also found Quake. Can we put that medallion back out of curiosity? We don't really want to go into fire. Thank you.
I think even if we put it back, the game's still gonna expect us to go back and find it again.
Oh man,
it's like a cursed medallion. Once you pick it up, you can't actually put it down.
I guess it's like bind to user or like bind on pickup or something like that, right? You basically just can't get rid of it. Alright, we did also find a mushroom on the torch. Again, not probably the fastest check, in inverted, just because you can't just flip immediately to 2. We can take a couple shortcuts, maybe for those of you who play more entrance stuff, the portal right directly in front of like Link's house, like the water portal, can basically get you over there with a good shortcut. Eri is showing off that, the hook speed is basically, not a problem for him. He is not worried at all about falling off the ledge. Especially actually in inverted, it's I would say even more costly, just because you can't really get back there quickly. You have to kind of enter in Desert Palace from the front all over again. But, Eri is very confident.
Yeah, very confident indeed as he goes back to take on Lamellus with, well, we're probably not going to be seeing NMG build strats today.
Can we switch over to NMG anyway? I know Aries been practicing, but yeah, I think you're right, Chief. You know, I was just looking at Aries loadout: silver arrows, half magic, fire rod. We've got our choices for how we want to take down Lambos.
Yeah, he could choose to put down these silver arrows, but decides not to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Ice Rod completely on our path. Looks like we're in Turtle Rock Big Key Go mode.
Yeah, so I imagine Aries just gonna head straight up the mountain and hope that it's somewhere in Hera or... Well, I guess we've cleared out quite a lot of the mountain, so stepping out to make this check in Checkerboard Cave first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for it, even Aries, you know, sees that small key, you know, he says, no thank you, you know, just because he knows right now he is just looking for exactly one big key. I think there could still be, I think, a key, looks like actually, according to our tracker, the Swamp Palace big key could be a decoy.
Yeah, I think that is the only other big key that we're missing.
Yeah. So, right, but I mean, like, as far as small keys goes... Oh, it's Ether. Okay, no, never mind. Okay, we can keep the Quick Medallion. Well, we just never want to see the Ether Medallion. Thank you. Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, at this point, you know, just because he is just looking for one giant big key, he doesn't care about anything else. And especially, you know, in terms of offense, he not only has Temper Sword, he has Silvers to his name. Like... No, like, he doesn't need basically anything at this point.
Yeah, no, he's perfectly set. So we'll see. Looks like McMonkey... Oh, McMonkey and Aerie both up here on the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for Monkey, this is 100% required. You assume he does kind of like finishes up his trip, hopefully into Laser Bridge, because he still needs that Easter Palace big key. I mean, presumably he's also going to do Hera, like maybe while he's up here looking for it. But you know, for at least as compared to Aerie, he is going to need at least one more mountain trip up because he needs to finish this up Turtle Rock. All right, Bombo's entry for Aerie. You know, McMonkey's probably going to find that shortly. We've got a good number of Turtle Rock small keys. We're going to at least get the front of Turtle Rock checked. So Compass Chest, Roller Room, all available to us.
Is that a Metroid shape of the hammer pegs? I don't actually know what that is.
It actually might be. I actually didn't know either. it does look. I thought maybe it was also maybe like a mushroom. I guess I don't know.
I guess it's just the shape that locks you in there and requires hammering it out. But
I certainly would not be surprised.
I assume it's a Metroid.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would not be surprised if it were related to a Metroid. I mean, you know, like the Super Metroid community, Randomizer, SMZ3, like combo stuff. I mean, you know, certainly very prevalent, you know, overlap within these communities. All right, McMonkey taking a little bit of extra time to pick up a second safety with just a bottle. Pretty nice, but I think Aerie is not interested.
Yeah, so we're gonna see just how nice the sea wants to be today. Turtle Rock Big Key is just gonna be right on our path, and that's gonna be really good news for Aerie, and not so good news for McMonkey.
Yeah, I would like to also point out that the speed at which both of these runners did Herapod was lightning. Alright, so that second Castle Tower small key has also just triggered my personal memory. Do you happen to remember what was on Lumberjack, Keith?
Do you believe it was the digging implement?
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to be thinking about, right?
The seed would never put the Turtle Rock.
Never. I mean, surely it gave us, you know, an ice rod just right along our path. Surely it could not be so cruel, right? Oh man.
Yeah, speaking of cruel.
Yeah. Alright, so Eri takes down Moldor, probably has a little bit of extra help with that Temper Sword. McMonkey, unfortunately, I mean, you know, sword level probably didn't even matter with how McMonkey was positioned. Oh my gosh, dude, this jerk.
It's an interesting jousting match with Moldor in there. But McMonkey does use the hammer and cleans him up. Eri, meanwhile, is heading down into the basement.
Yeah. And it's certainly, you know, especially, you know, Hera basement oftentimes maybe, you know, is kind of like a toss-up for runners, whether or not they, you know, they want to do this. Several good reasons, you know, for doing Hera basement, especially, you know, Eri, you know, in keys, he pretty much just do that, but also in inverted, especially, the amount of time it takes to come back to Hera to begin with is pretty awful. So. Alright, McMonkey though, kind of maybe capitalizing on some of the amount of time he's already here up in, you know, Death Mountain, remembering that Mimic Cave is in fact a check that's available to us now with the hammer. So he is certainly looking for that Turtle Rock Big Key and Eastern Palace Big Key, and that is...
Oh boy.
Gosh, Eri has hit the route! That is go mode on Eri's side. Man, what good decisions that he has made.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly on the critical path, but it was pretty darn close.
Yeah, Eri has basically just like blazed through the scene. I mean, you know, the first like 45 minutes or whatever it is, yeah, he was kind of, you know, trotting, you know, walking through the scene, but you know, after he picked up the boots, I think something turned on for Eri, right? He just, you know, went to all the stuff, and with boots, he went to all the stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah, those boots were the key to turning things around, at least in his mind, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Eri for like his next set is... Yeah, I was gonna say, like, maybe Eri next time he's like, can we just start with boots? Like, you know, we'll get like a sub-hour scene finish on Eri's side. Alright, of course. Tempered Sword, you know, quick swap. Backdoor stress on Eri's side. Very, you know, textbook Tronix fight. Yeah, meanwhile, though, McMonkey, you know, kind of taking his time, you know, hopping down after, you know, very reasonably, of course, checking the Mimic Cave, because that was also very much hammer-locked. Going to kind of mirror over and check out the front of Turtle Rock. Of course, you know, we know that there probably won't be anything of real value. I mean, he has not done the back escape, so for him, a fourth sword could certainly very well turn up here, and that'll be very good for him. But at this point, I think, you know, it is certainly... Eri is running away with this particular race.
Yeah, definitely. And between the two runners, yeah, like you said, a sword, or really that's about all that McMonkey could hope to find that we know isn't, or sorry, that could be out there. Maybe another bottle. But none of those are really going to help him close the gap here.
Yeah. And, you know, and oftentimes, even you know, the best of runners, right? You know, when presented with a, like, Masters or Serverless fight, you know, there is going to be a lot of endurance. It's certainly very challenging execution. And, you know, Ganon doesn't always have to be kind, right? You can get knocked off, you can end up dying a bit, and so that could certainly be, you know, kind of a difference maker. You know, the fact that Eri, you know, early Tempered Sword, he only has silvers nonetheless as well. It's certainly going to be very difficult in order to be able to catch him. And Eri also demonstrating, you know, that of course, yes, it inverted the locations of the GT and, you know, Hera are, you know, swapped. Or CT, yeah, GT and Castle Tower are swapped, but yeah, and of course, here is a nice benefit of at least keys. Once you, in this case, have the GT Big Key, you are just free to, you know, completely skip out of the basement, just climb the gauntlet, and you know, given how much Eri has played this particular set of rooms, hopefully should be, you know, just sit back and very comfy time for him.
Yeah, we get to just sit here and enjoy the ride. Although the flip side of that, unfortunately for chat, is we do not get to play the Ganon's Tower Big Key gets the game kill.
That's true, yeah. Although, unless if they were absolutely astute, they were just basically counting from, like, you know, item number 1, and, you know, they could have guessed from, like, 1 to 216, right, where that GT Big Key is.
And if anyone has done that, then please do send me a message, and I will verify your account and award you internet points accordingly.
Thank you so much. Alright, so I think that was also EP Eastern Big Key pickup for McMonkey. So that is going to be something else. I think he is still maybe looking for that Turtle Rock Big Key here in Turtle Rock, which I believe is still actually possible to have, at least in Crystal Roller. So he's just going to maybe like finish up what he can. But of course, you know, we know from Aries' side is that, well, the Turtle Rock Big Key was just, you know, sitting very snugly in Hera basement. So hopefully McMonkey will go back. This quick swapping over to Flute, though, doesn't look super promising.
No, there's some pondering going on the McMonkey's side.
Oh, okay, I see. So he is looking for Turtle. Okay, so he can certainly finish up Eastern Palace. He has not been there at all, so this is going to be most likely going to be a full clear for him, which of course is certainly again very reasonable, right? He found Turtle Rock, or found Eastern Palace Big Key. This is another clearable crystal stone for him.
Yeah, this certainly seems like the right play from his perspective.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, yeah. Also good reminder is that also, you know, again, I think Lily Lord also pointed this out earlier in the race, was that there was a GT Smolky and, more importantly, the Hera Smolky that was also here in Mr. Palace.
Yeah, it seems like in a lot of ways that really was the turning point for this race, was Eri picking up that Eastern Palace Big Key, well, second, third.
Mm-hmm.
One of those earlier trips up the mountain.
That's right. Oh, look at Eri trying to get over the gap here, even with the hook shot out for good luck. Yeah, actually, yeah, Jeeve, so this is actually a really good point that you brought up. And so, you know, it's just another, again, like, these, you know, what seems to be kind of like more minor decisions, or maybe it's like, oh, maybe this won't be too big of a deal, but I mean, this happened, you know, probably within the first, like, 10 minutes of the seed, right? Is, you know, Eri got, you know, Light World access a little bit earlier, just because he got the Pearl. The first time he was in Pod, from the big chest, went over to Paradox and was just super thorough for everything, right? Got all the way to Laser Bridge and found the Eastern Palace Big Key. And then, you know, when he was up the mountain the second time, he was able, in order to do Hera Basement. You know, versus McMonkey, unfortunately, you know, when he was up the mountain after the Pearl, could not, unfortunately, you know, have that luxury, right? He didn't do Laser Bridge in this case, missed out on the Eastern Palace Big Key, and we just saw, of course, the Hera Small Key. And now, McMonkey, it does kind of have to make, you know, the arduous trip back over to Hera in order to get his Turtle Rock Big Key.
Yeah, and Eri taking down Agatu, didn't count how many cycles that was, but didn't have any issues on that. Gonna be dropping into the Ganon fight here. Pretty sure he does have, yeah, silver arrows are not marked on the track, but he does have them.
Oh yeah. Eri is probably more than comfortable at this point.
Yeah.
Certainly for McMonkey's sake, I do hope that he does find a Tempered Sword, just because, you know, the difference between Master and Tempered is pretty big. But of course, you know, as we're kind of demonstrating, you know, at least Eri is on Ganon, does have to be a little bit careful to not touch him. He's not in one-hit KO mode because of the bats and Blue Mail, but certainly he's not something that you don't really want to hear heartbeats with encouragement at this point. But, you know, nicely done to get through phases 1 and 2 with a nice one cycle for both. It just needs Ganon to kind of stay still, and then, you know, Eri, 4 silver arrows away basically, is going to claim the series over McMonkey for 2-0, and then advance on to the next round of brackets.
Oh, Eri, no.
Nobody saw anything. Everyone, close your eyes for about, I don't know, 30 seconds or something like that. Of when Eri goes back to Ganon phase 4. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, we saw nothing. That
That's
just
right.
needs to happen about, I don't know, 10 more times, and we'll get you back into the race.
Well, McMonkey has secured his 6th crystal from Eastern Palace, so everybody channel your energy into getting McMonkey back up to Hera, so we can go get our big key of Turtle Rock from the Hera basement.
I think Eri just loves fighting Ganon so much that
He's like,
he just needed to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, can I have this run count as 2 energy runs? Alright, so McMonkey is thinking where he wants to go find his Turtle Rock Big Key, and certainly very reasonable so, with the hammer, with the flippers, with the mirror, with the hook shot, we do have, and not only that, Swamp Palace is the green pendant, right? This is going to be a lot of available checks in this particular location.
Yeah, definitely the density play, you could say. Makes perfect sense. But unfortunately, Ganon now has 2 more silver arrows to go on Eri's side. And there we go. Get your GGs in chat for Eri.
Yeah, get your G's on chat. Eri pretty much knocked the seed out of the park. Like, even his early routing game was, very, very strong, right? First trip over into Pod, got him his Moon Pearl, followed the logic up to Paradox Gate, was thorough, got his Eastern Palace Big Key, first time off of Laser Bridge, and, able was to get the Hera Small Key out of Eastern before heading up, back up the mountain, and just got everything from there. So very smooth sailing for Eri, found some offense along the way to make execution, very smooth, so certainly very well done. And just real quick, looks like McMonkey has also kind of thrown in the towel, so please get your G's out in chat for McMonkey, really, doing his best to basically run through the seed, for what he was given, he did a really nice job. Hello, Eri. We are joined by today's victor, GG's.
Hey.
GG's, Eri.
Oh, thank you.
So, did you... it's okay, right, so I think I've heard that runners never feel, good about seeds. This one, at least from our perspective, looks like you did very well on. Your personal thoughts?
Yeah, I was talking a little bit with McMonkey in the post-race chat. In hindsight, I probably should have felt a lot better than I did. But I did feel like I isolated a couple things. I felt that I kind of made it hard on myself in the early Dark World with regards to money and stuff. And then once Light World started, I felt that I did so much overworld and I got to boots really late, even though I had the Eastern Big Key and could just do that, from the get-go. But it was like, well, let's just do some overworld checks and maybe boots are there. Well, obviously boots were somewhere else. And then I got the hammer really late. And sure, after hammer, everything was really straightforward. I didn't need to do pop, but I didn't have the crystal info because I never checked big pop. So after that, I could just do Ice, Desert, Hera. Oh, I'm in go mode, which was nice. But at that point, when I was climbing GT and felt again, and the shakes really started to happen. I was just my eyes were glued on race time. I was just no. I didn't think I was winning.
Oh really? Oh. I mean, I hope you're at least pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Big sigh of relief.
Yeah, it was it's just so easy in Randomizer to just doom think yourself out of a race. And I think in normal, more casual, just ladder races, it's not as bad. But in tournament races, everything feels way more serious. So it's a lot easier to just put pressure on yourself. And that kind of showed with, like, the Ganon fall. It's just... your hands don't really do what they know they should do. It's hard to explain.
I mean, we still have to thank you for basically showing us that you're still human. That there are that there's hope for maybe like the rest of us mere mortals. But still, I mean, but you definitely played quite a phenomenal game. I'm not really sure if you ended up getting like a recap from McMonkey, but like all of your dips, right? Basically were if you had to go back to a dungeon, it was required to go back, right? First time in pod, you got the pearl the first time, right? The pearl that you both get. Laser Bridge, right? You finished that, got Easter Palace Big Key, right? Got the Hera Small from there, and then when you were up in Hera, you just got to do everything, right?
Yeah, post Hammer, I just felt I had to be just thorough. I did make a small derp actually. After Desert, I checked Checkerboard Cave, and I was like, oh, I don't need any small keys. And then in Hera, I find the Castle Tower key, and I was like, oh wait, there was a shovel on Lumberjack.
Oh yeah. Well, thankfully we never had to see it because I think we first saw that when I think it was either you or McMonkey, I don't remember, but yeah, we were like, oh no, the game certainly would not be this cruel, right?
Yeah, I've certainly never done Aga for nothing. That's it's never happened before. But yeah, that was a little derp. But like, other than that, I felt I had to be thorough, and it's like, okay, well, I got the ice rail. Just need TR big. Could be anywhere, so let's just not skip anything done at that point.
Certainly did very much pay off for you. So, and I guess because first round of brackets is 2 weeks, so you get next week off. Congratulations.
Excellent. Rest. So many tourneys going on with the ladder invitational going on as well. It's a lot of games, and yeah, it's nice to not have to do like 6 races a week. So.
I guess also speaking of, yeah, so you won McMonkey, this is your 2-0 series, so I believe actually you're facing Raylan next round, yeah, so any particular thoughts about that matchup?
Yeah, it should be a really good one. Raylan is like kind of a semi-new, I think he's played for like a year and a half now, but he's been on the up and rising. He's been winning a lot, like also in ladder, just been grinding it out. So a lot of respect for him. He's gonna be a rough opponent. Like it's kind of what is the standard, of course, when you're in the top 32. But yeah, the other one, like he won against Plebe, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and like that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, especially yeah. I mean, like you mentioned like like the field being so strong. Like I mean, it's like every year the field just gets stronger and stronger, and it's like top 128 sounds like a lot of people, but it's actually like not anymore. Like in terms of like how good people are, and then you whittle it down to like the top 64, and just like every single match is just super scary.
Yeah, and I have to shout out like McMonkey as well. Like, he's a super phenomenal runner as well. Like he's been putting a lot of time and energy as well over the past year, and he's been kind of doing a couple of other games and speedruns with Zelda 1, but like I wouldn't have been too mad losing against him. So it just goes to show like anyone can beat anyone. I'm lucky enough to take this series, and I'm looking forward to my series against Raiden. But we'll see how everything goes. Also, I had to thank the crew for McMonkey. He wasn't able to join the interview because of dinner plans. But just so it's out there, y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for commentating, tracking, and doing everything.
Thank you so much for racing. I mean, like I can't speak for everybody, but like you guys are definitely the stars of the show. You just kind of show up and like make a couple observations, and yeah, so.
Yeah, you put on a great show for us. Appreciate that.
it's a fun game. It's fun to show off a little. It's not so fun to fall to Ganon, but I mean, sometimes you just have a really good use of Armos, and sometimes you just shake your way off the Ganon platform, and that's Link to the Past for you.
Your almost nice was indeed very pretty to watch. So your coaster fight was also very good. Actually, I think we've at least like going into Ice Palace, no Kane, right? It's like, oh, okay, fine. We're gonna see Eri clear out Ice Palace, like the NMG would, and then of course, what do you have the first chest, right? Kane Samaria. It's like, well, at least we have an NMG coaster fight.
It's the true Ice Palace big key.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess like any other thoughts from you, Eri, maybe, or other people before we kind of wrap things up.
Oh, I think I kind of went through the seat pretty well. No, I'm pretty, like, in hindsight, like, very content. Like most of it was good. But I'm gonna get some sleep now. It's 1 a.m. again.
Oh yeah, it's super late for you. I forgot. Oh yeah, I was gonna say like the one benefit I guess of you playing Rylan, in the next series is you're both in Germany, right? So hopefully scheduling won't be too bad.
Yeah, those are famous last words. I don't know what kind of sick schedule Raylan has. I mean, sometimes you see Tato or Schultz or something doing like races at 3 a.m. and I'm like, nope.
Oh,
nope,
geez.
nope.
As you lay down the law, Eri. You tell them that you refuse to race outside of normal EU hours.
Yeah, I'll try.
Well, thank you for sticking it out so late with us here. And
yeah, no, for sure.
It's always a pleasure. So again, thank you all so much for the awesome work you do. It's definitely a huge part in bringing the community together. So hope to get to hear your sweet voices again soon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess I'll be back on screen soon. So
you will, yes. Good luck.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
All right, enjoy your rest, Eri. And thank you so much, McMonkey, by the way. Yeah, unfortunately, right, I think Eri mentioned that you couldn't join us. Unfortunately, yeah, kind of our loss to not be able to talk to you. Would have loved to kind of hear like what your thoughts on for the rest of the tournament, but you had a really great run. I think Eri mentioned that you're a great runner. Being able to even make it to brackets this far, I think is quite the accomplishment for anybody. And this is certainly looking forward to more of your accomplishments. I would also like to thank our tracker tonight, Lady Laura Linda. She has kept us so honest of pointing out where all of the important stuff are, like that Hera small key. So many like pod keys, turtle rock keys, all the items. Thank you so much. Always really great to be able to have a wonderful tracker like you. Basically, clicking all the buttons, especially for keys, inverted keys, right? In that. So thank you so much. And Chief, it was brilliant fun actually calling this race with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Had a good time, and thank you as well. And thank you, Lady Laura Linda. Thanks, Eri, McMonkey, and you, the viewer at home, chat. It's always fun to come hang out, and yeah, it was a fun time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, right. Big thank you again to Eri and to McMonkey. You guys are the stars. You're just very happy to be able to commentate your races. So certainly look forward to your next races, whenever they may be. But right, so in terms of, I guess, the schedule tonight, we do have a couple more races, at least, on SpeedGaming. So 9:10 Eastern, so in about 2 hours. There is GFE versus Hydropower, a pretty solid matchup on SpeedGaming 3. And then at 10:40 p.m. Eastern is Jejo versus Moogle, Moogle Charm, SpeedGaming 4. So lots of rando, and then I don't think the schedule is quite set for tomorrow in terms of restreams, but a lot of also other races going on tomorrow as well. So certainly keep your eyes on the schedule. But until then, have a great rest of the evening.
All right, yeah, thanks everyone. Take care, and signing off. Bye all.